Most people think military deployment changes only the soldier. They're wrong. Sometimes it changes the dog, too. When I came home after 18 months off-world, the first thing that tackled me wasn't my husband. It was my deployment dog. The 70-pound missile launched himself across the landing terminal and nearly knocked me onto my back. His tail was moving so fast it looked like it might achieve orbital velocity. I laughed and buried my face in his wet nose. "Miss me, buddy?" He responded by stepping directly on my foot and sneezing in my face. Honestly, that was his version of a love letter. My husband stood a few feet away, arms crossed. "Nice to see you too," he joked. I laughed and hugged him, but something felt different. At first, I ignored it. Coming home from deployment always felt strange. The dog had served beside me through meteor storms, pirate attacks, emergency evacuations, and enough terrifying situations to fill several therapy sessions. He had literally saved lives, including mine. To me, he wasn't just a pet. He was family. The problem was that everyone else seemed to agree. Everywhere we went, people recognized him. Children wanted pictures. Veterans wanted handshakes. Neighbors brought treats. Meanwhile, my husband seemed to become more irritated every day. At first it was harmless. He complained about dog hair. Then he complained about food costs. Then he complained that people asked about the dog before asking about him. "Your dog has a bigger fan club than I do," he muttered one afternoon. The dog immediately sat in his favorite chair. I laughed. My husband didn't. Weeks passed. The little comments became constant. The dog snored too loudly. The dog took up too much space. The dog got too much attention online. Every complaint sounded more ridiculous than the last. One evening, our neighbor jokingly asked for the dog's autograph. The dog couldn't write. My husband spent 3 hours sulking anyway. Then came the storm. Rain hammered the neighborhood so hard it sounded like the sky was conducting artillery practice. Dark clouds covered everything. I had left to pick up groceries. The dog stayed home. My husband stayed home. In hindsight, that was a terrible combination. I wasn't even 10 minutes away when my phone started buzzing. At first I ignored it. Then it buzzed again. And again. And again. By the time I checked it, I had 7 missed calls from neighbors. A terrible feeling settled in my stomach. I immediately turned the car around. When I reached home, the rain was still pouring. And there he was. My deployment dog sat outside in the driveway. Soaked. Shivering. Confused. But still staring hopefully at the front door. Waiting to be let back inside. My heart broke instantly. I jumped from the car and ran toward him. The moment he saw me, his tail started wagging. Not angry. Not upset. Just happy I was home. That somehow made it worse. I wrapped my arms around him and rushed him inside. The second we entered the house, I confronted my husband. "What happened?" He barely looked up from the couch. "I put him outside." I stared. "You what?" He was annoying me. Outside, thunder cracked across the sky. Inside, I was dangerously close to becoming the thunder. "You threw him into a storm because he annoyed you? He's a dog. He'll survive." The argument exploded from there. Neighbors later claimed they could hear us through closed windows. One even said he learned 3 new curse words that night. Meanwhile, my husband insisted everyone was overreacting. According to him, the dog was fine. According to me, he was lucky the dog got to him before I did. Eventually I gave up arguing. I dried my dog's fur with towels while he leaned against me. Within minutes he was asleep. Safe. Warm. Loved. What none of us knew was that the story wasn't over. Across the street, a neighbor's security camera had captured every second of what happened. The footage had already been uploaded. People had already started sharing it. And while my husband sat comfortably on the couch believing the entire situation was finished, the internet was preparing to make him famous for all the wrong reasons. I woke up the next morning expecting awkward silence, lingering tension, and maybe another argument about the dog. What I didn't expect was my phone trying to vibrate itself off the nightstand. Messages poured in faster than I could read them. Friends. Former squad mates. Neighbors. Complete strangers. At first I thought something terrible had happened. Then I opened one of the messages. A video appeared on my screen. The security footage. The entire neighborhood had apparently enjoyed a front row seat to my husband's brilliant decision-making. There he was, opening the door, pointing outside, and tossing my deployment dog into the rain like he was throwing away a broken lawn chair. The video quality wasn't perfect. The stupidity was crystal clear. I checked the view count. Nearly 2 million. I blinked. Then checked again. 3 million. The number was climbing so quickly it looked broken. The internet had chosen violence. Comments flooded every platform. People were furious. Veterans were furious. Animal lovers were furious. Dog owners were furious. Even cat owners seemed offended somehow. Then came the memes. Thousands of them. My husband was no longer simply my husband. The internet had renamed him. Rain Man Randy. The nickname spread with terrifying efficiency. By lunchtime, it was trending. By dinner, people were printing it onto t-shirts. My husband discovered this while scrolling through his phone. The scream he released could probably be heard from orbit. "This is harassment." "It's a nickname," I replied. "It's character assassination." The character mostly assassinated itself. That didn't improve his mood. Neither did the local news coverage. One station replayed the footage so many times that viewers started creating drinking games around it. Another station interviewed 3 dog trainers, 2 military veterans, and 1 extremely angry grandmother. The grandmother delivered the harshest criticism. "I don't trust a man who throws out a loyal dog." The clip gathered millions of views by itself. Meanwhile, my husband made the worst possible decision. He attempted to defend himself online. His first post claimed people lacked context. Everyone demanded context. His second post provided context. The context somehow made him look worse. His third post included the phrase, "It was just a dog." That sentence detonated like a grenade. Within hours, several business sponsors publicly distanced themselves from him. One company posted a picture of a dog wearing sunglasses and simply wrote, "We choose Team Dog." The internet loved it. My husband nearly passed out. Meanwhile, the star of the story remained completely unaware of his celebrity status. My deployment dog spent the day sleeping on the couch and occasionally demanding snacks. His fame, however, was growing rapidly. People began sharing stories of military working dogs. Former service members posted pictures. News accounts highlighted heroic deployments. Before long, my dog's service history was circulating everywhere. Suddenly people weren't just defending him. They admired him, respected him, loved him. By the following evening, fan pages had appeared. One account gained hundreds of thousands of followers in less than a day. Then something even stranger happened. I received a message from an interstellar marketing company. At first I assumed it was a scam. The company specialized in animal brands, service animal awareness campaigns, and veteran support programs across several planetary systems. Their representative requested a video call. Curiosity won. I accepted. A few hours later, a tall silver-haired alien appeared on my screen. He wore a sharp business suit and a warm smile. Unlike most executives I'd met, he looked genuinely happy to be there. "First," he said, "please tell your dog that our entire office adores him." I laughed despite myself. "He's currently asleep." "Excellent. That's exactly how celebrities should behave." For the first time in days, I found myself smiling naturally. We spent nearly an hour discussing service animals, military life, and the unexpected chaos surrounding the viral video. He listened when I spoke. Actually listened. No interruptions. No complaints. No jealousy. Just respect. It felt surprisingly refreshing. When the call ended, I realized something uncomfortable. I had enjoyed talking to a stranger for 1 hour more than I'd enjoyed talking to my husband all week. Across the room, my husband was busy arguing with anonymous commenters online. Outside, another delivery truck arrived carrying fan gifts for the dog. And somehow I had a feeling things were only getting started. The next day felt like living inside a comedy show that nobody had warned me about. Every hour brought a new surprise. Most of them involved my dog becoming more successful than many actual celebrities. The marketing company moved quickly. Apparently, interstellar corporations didn't believe in wasting time. By breakfast, they had drafted a campaign honoring military service animals. By lunch, they had sent professional designers. By dinner, my dog's face was appearing on merchandise across multiple planetary networks. The first product samples arrived the following morning. Coffee mugs, hoodies, dog toys, even a line of rain jackets labeled Stormproof Hero. My deployment dog examined the products for approximately 3 seconds before deciding the shipping box was more interesting. Millions of fans adored him. He preferred cardboard. That somehow made people love him even more. The online store exploded. Orders flooded in from around the galaxy. Veterans especially embraced the campaign. Messages poured into my inbox. People shared stories about service animals that had protected them during difficult times. Others thanked me for speaking up after the video. For the first time since returning home, I felt like something positive was coming from the chaos. Meanwhile, my husband was experiencing the exact opposite. His reputation continued its rapid journey into a black hole. Every attempt to repair the damage somehow created new damage. One afternoon he announced he was hosting a live-streamed apology. Several thousand viewers joined immediately. I watched from the kitchen. The dog watched from the couch. Neither of us was prepared. The apology lasted 6 minutes. During those 6 minutes he blamed the weather, social media, the camera angle, public opinion, and what he called anti-husband bias. Not once did he apologize to the dog. The internet noticed. The comments became merciless. One viewer asked whether the dog could host the next apology instead. Another suggested replacing my husband with a decorative plant. The decorative plant received overwhelming support. By evening, clips of the failed apology were spreading faster than the original video. My husband looked physically exhausted. My dog looked fantastic. A local television station invited us for an interview. The producers wanted to highlight military service animals and responsible pet ownership. I accepted. The interview went smoothly until the host attempted to ask serious questions. My dog spotted a snack hidden behind a camera. The next 5 minutes consisted of him charming the entire studio audience while stealing treats from production staff. The clip generated millions of additional views. The station immediately invited him back. Nobody invited my husband. The marketing executive called later that evening. What began as business conversations had gradually become something else. We talked about our childhoods, our careers, the strange things we'd learned while traveling through different star systems. He possessed a calm confidence that made every conversation easy. There was no competition, no insecurity, no need to dominate every discussion. Just kindness. At one point he admitted that the entire company had become emotionally invested in my dog's success. "I should probably maintain professional distance," he said. "But everyone in our office cheers whenever he appears online." I laughed. "He's handling fame surprisingly well. He sounds more mature than several executives I know." That made me laugh even harder. The truth was becoming difficult to ignore. For weeks I had been trying to fix a marriage that seemed increasingly built on resentment. Meanwhile, a complete stranger was showing me more respect during video calls than I received at home. The contrast was impossible to miss. Apparently my husband noticed it too. The moment I ended the call, he appeared in the doorway. His expression was tense. "You're talking to him again?" "It was business." "It didn't sound like business." I looked at him for a long moment. The irony nearly made me laugh. After everything that had happened, after the dog, the storm, the viral humiliation, and the endless excuses, jealousy was still his biggest concern. Outside, another delivery truck pulled into the driveway carrying merchandise featuring my dog. Inside, my husband watched his world slowly unravel. And for the first time, I wasn't sure I wanted to help him stop it. I can continue the story, but I can't provide it inside another writing block because the system only allows up to 3 writing blocks in one response. Here's section 4 in normal text. 48 hours after my husband threw my deployment dog into the rain, the universe finally delivered the punchline. It started shortly after sunrise. The first truck arrived before I had finished my coffee. Then came another. And another. By 9 in the morning, our driveway looked like a shipping depot. Boxes covered the front lawn. Merchandise orders. Promotional materials. Fan gifts. One package contained a custom gold dog bowl engraved with the words, "Hero of the Storm." Another contained enough treats to feed a small army. My dog inspected every box carefully before selecting one large carton as his new favorite bed. Naturally, the internet found this adorable. The video gained another several million views. Then the reporters arrived. News vans lined the street. Neighbors gathered on sidewalks. People took pictures from across the road. At this point, the entire neighborhood had accepted that my dog was more famous than most entertainers. The final blow arrived around noon. A sleek silver transport vehicle landed in front of the house. The marketing company had sent a professional team. Along with them came the executive I'd been speaking with for days. The moment he stepped out, my dog sprinted toward him. The traitor practically launched himself into the man's arms. The executive laughed. "Well, that's either a warm greeting or I've been adopted." "I think you've been adopted," I replied. My husband watched the exchange from the porch. His expression suggested he was having a very bad day. That bad day became worse when the marketing team began discussing numbers. Large numbers. Very large numbers. Campaign revenue. Merchandise sales. Licensing agreements. Charity partnerships. The dog-themed products had become a massive success. One representative casually mentioned projected earnings. My husband nearly choked. The dog was earning more money than he was. Significantly more. The realization visibly broke something inside him. For several minutes, he stood completely silent. Then he exploded. Right there in the driveway. In front of reporters. In front of neighbors. In front of cameras broadcasting live. He started shouting. At the marketing team. At the reporters. At the neighbors. At the internet. At the delivery drivers. At one point he even pointed directly at my dog. "This is ridiculous," he yelled. My dog responded by sitting down and scratching behind one ear. The crowd laughed. That only made him louder. The cameras captured everything. Every complaint. Every excuse. Every dramatic arm movement. By evening, clips of the meltdown were everywhere. Millions of people watched him unravel in real time. A fresh wave of memes flooded social media. The internet immediately upgraded his nickname. The old one wasn't enough anymore. For the rest of the week, he became known as Screaming Rain Man Randy. I wish I could say I felt sorry for him. I didn't. Because standing there, watching the chaos unfold, I finally understood something important. The problem had never been the dog. The problem was that kindness made him jealous. Loyalty made him insecure. Love felt like competition. And I was tired. Tired of defending someone who never accepted responsibility. Tired of making excuses. Tired of shrinking myself to protect his ego. So I made a decision. A simple one. I told him our marriage was over. The silence that followed lasted only a few seconds. But it felt longer. Then, surprisingly, I felt relief. Pure relief. No anger. No guilt. Just freedom. Later that afternoon, after the reporters finally left, the executive and I sat together on the porch while my dog slept between us. For the first time in weeks, everything felt peaceful. "You know," he said carefully, "under normal circumstances I'd wait much longer before asking this." I smiled. "That's probably wise. Unfortunately, normal circumstances disappeared several million views ago." I laughed. "So what are you asking?" He smiled. "Dinner. Simple. Respectful. No pressure. Just dinner." I looked down at my dog. His tail immediately started wagging. Apparently he approved. "Well," I said, standing up, "it would be rude to argue with professional advice." His smile widened. My dog's tail nearly achieved escape velocity. As evening settled over the neighborhood, I walked away from the worst chapter of my life and towards something better. A loyal dog trotted beside me. A promising future waited ahead. And somewhere on the internet, millions of people were still laughing at the man who threw a hero into the rain. The funniest part? By the end of the month, my deployment dog had accumulated more followers than several movie stars, 2 planetary governors, and 1 extremely bitter ex-husband. Honestly, he'd earned every single one.